Hello, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox here. On the show tonight is my mucker, Bridge. Evening, Bridge.
Oh, good evening, Oxia. A wonderful evening tonight, this evening. Can I just say a big good evening to the guys in the lobby and a huge good evening to all the Rangers fans all over the world. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How are you, mate? How are you?
I'm good, yes. I'm really very good. I enjoyed last night listening to the show last night.
The sounds of the 70s. The
sounds of the 70s, yeah. I think this, and on reflection, the questions last night appear to be a bit easier. I wonder if that's because it's because in the far distant past of the 60s, I can't remember them all.
Well, there's been a lot. I've got to say, there's been a lot of messages flying back and forth, and their place in the tournament is still in abeyance, mate. It's went further because they got it wrong. Yeah, they got it wrong.
Well,
two intelligent people like that can't count. It's looking that way, Bridge. It's looking that way. They'll have to go. All the other teams are objecting, and the teams for the 60s as well.
And so is iTunes. So that's it. They're gone.
They could be fifth. They could end up fifth, that team.
I just love it. Brilliant.
Well, they never put the work in, did they? Now, you get out of life what you put in, don't you? You know what I mean?
It's very good. It's so good. And it's actually, I'm so happy at the moment because we're not involved in virtually not involved in anything so far as football is concerned in this country at the moment. And it's great. It's absolutely great. They're ripping each other to pieces. I don't know what's going to happen with Scott Brown, whether they're going to kill him before he gets up there to wherever it is he's going to go up at Aberdeen. But my God, they're going mad with him. They're going mad with him.
It's up to him, innit?
I just love it. I just love it. When the Hearts get beat today again, oh my God. Terrible problems.
They're not a bad one at all. Well, I've got a question for you, mate, and a serious question. I see that this guy Leach, who seems to like the limelight in Scotland's talking about people getting back into the football next season, but potentially maybe no full stadiums. Let's assume there was, say, a third-tier stadium getting, yeah?
Uh-huh.
You know, how would you do it in your eyes? Have you had any thoughts about that?
I think there would have to just be a draw, to be honest. Like so many here, from all the different areas, and just have a draw, so many people allowed in, and there you're sitting in your own seat. That's the only way I would think it. Either that or they just open up one of the, let's say, the Sandy Jardine stand, and everybody just gets a seat in there, whoever gets drawn.
They couldn't do that, could they? Because it's just the reason they're not letting you do it. No letting it be fuller is because of social distancing.
Of course, I mean that's why I'm saying the Sandy Jardine stand. They just use the one stand. I don't know how many are going to allow in.
You'd only get. I'm assuming there's a third of the stadium in, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Sandy Jardine stand holds about 18,000, I think. Yeah.
Roughly that. Yeah, roughly that.
So you get 6,000 in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end stands hold about 7.5, maybe 8 if you take the wee corner bits in. So they get about 2,500 in roughly either ends, you know.
I'm just meaning that if they say, just for saying sake, Oxford, they say we're allowed 25,000 in, just for saying sake, we're allowed 25,000 in. But you can't. They've just got to take a draw of all the season ticket holders for a start, and take a draw of 25,000 numbers, and then place them strategically in a safe area to take 10,000 in one area, 6,000 in one area, 6,000 in another, and so on and so forth until they get it done. I wouldn't touch the main stand. I would just go with the other stands, Copeland, Broomloan, and the Sandy Jardine. That's what I'd do.
So you wouldn't have anybody in the enclosure main stand of the club then?
No, I wouldn't have it. No. It depends on the numbers, of course. That's why I'm saying you could give so many to. You'll not get your seat. I doubt very much they're just going to give everybody a seat.
I'm not assuming you get your seat, but if you get 25,000 and then you took the club deck and you took the main stand, you took the closure away, you would have no chance of doing any social distancing. The reason you're no full. You'd need to use every.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to say they would have to work that out where they're going to put them. If it was me, I would just keep it low. I'm considering there might not even be 20,000 in, you know. So they would need to spread out whatever it is, but it's got to be spread. But I would try to keep crowds away for the players and the playing staff. That's my honest opinion.
I don't. I don't understand your rationale.
Why?
Well, if you were sitting away from the tunnel and away from the dugouts, you could be as close behind the goal in the Copeland Road in the front row as you are anywhere in the enclosure.
Once again, I'll say I have to bow to better knowledge, and the club will do whatever the club does to make it happen if they're allowed so many people in. I would split it as cleanly as possible with this COVID distancing in mind. And I don't know how they would do that, so they'll have to come up with a plan as to how to do it. And if that means you need to use up every part of the stands for both the distancing and the people, then you need to do it.
Right.
But all I'm meaning is that when they draw 20,000 out, they can't have the same 20,000 at the next game.
That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? And I wrote her that you get number 1, I'm number 2, so we're in up to 15,000 the first week, then 15,001 will get the next week. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. At least we agree on something, eh?
Well, I don't know of any other way. It depends what you're allowed in.
I mean, obviously, if you're in with family and friends and all that, people would. But you could have a 10-year-old boy getting told he feed him free so he can go on his own, which would be crazy, wouldn't it?
No, they don't want any of that. No, they want it to be sensible. It's as sensible as possible. And people in groups, if they're in their own bubble, like families, they can all sit together. And then that's got to be worked out. The club need to know who they are, and they need to do it right.
I'm just hoping that by the time we get to August, everything, the world's moved, mate, and hopefully we can all get back in,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just hoping, but I just read that today and I thought, here we go. I don't know if it's a good thing for football clubs, because then they'd have to open up their stadium and they've all that expense and not getting the big revenue in Bridge,
Well, that's what I'm meaning. I think that's what I'm meaning. Okay, because in my opinion, it would still only be season ticket holders that would be part of it. Believe me, I just don't know, but I think that's what it would be. But they might turn and say, well, we'll take 2,000 fans and we'll just ask them to send in an email or something like that, and we'll take a lucky dip for them as well. So however they work it, I wish them nothing but good luck, because no matter what happens, sometimes you end up causing problems. Problems get caused. Nothing's deliberate, but they think it's unfair here or unfair there.
Mr. Fox has just mentioned me. He said that single guys and single ladies should be allowed in the first week.
He must think he's at the plaza or something.
He's always on, isn't he? He's always on the hunt, isn't he?
Oh, he's a shocker, isn't that? But mine's a shocker. Absolute shocker.
Take a day off,
But no, that's a brilliant point you brought up there. And a deadly serious one. It might not be too serious right now, but a deadly serious one. If that director, health director, if he comes out and says we're going to let people in, and this is what we're going to let in. If they turn and say it's going to be 300, you know what I mean? How can you put 300?
I just don't see the point.
Exactly. They need to make sure they've got the correct policing. And is the policing going to be overdone if they have the normal policing for Ibrox when there's 50,000 there and there's not going to be anywhere near that? Then it's a waste of time, waste of money, in my opinion. Never mind, we'll get it.
I know. All right, okay. Obviously, we've not played now since last Sunday, but the season, Bridgeman, it's beyond expectations, and obviously a disappointment last Thursday when we were out of Europe. Always a disappointment. Disappointed to get beat by St Mirren in a drama-packed match, but we shouldn't have lost again. We just get young Bassey had a wee bit of a shocker for a wee while, and we lost a couple of goals, but we were in control again. We were 1-1. We should actually put it to bed, really, but look, we didn't. It didn't, and that happens in football. But apart from the two blips, Bridge's season's been superb.
Oh yes, absolutely. The only thing I'm bitter. You mentioned Bassey there. I'm bitterly disappointed by the SFA. They've made their decision, and they made it on Friday, and they're not going to tell the boys until the Monday. And I don't know what their ulterior motive is, but that should have been published immediately. In my opinion, it should have been published immediately. So we need to see what's going to happen, because that's them just dragging that out for another couple of days there, and it's just wrong. It's just utterly wrong. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Interesting to see what that is when it pans out. Okay, a lockdown show. We're on here for a wee bit longer, and it'd be great to let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
And remember, your cloaks go forward tonight, Bridgeman.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You know, the clocks go forward. If I was asking you, we've had a lot of debate on here, and if you were the recruitment staff, Bridgeman, with the club, and you're sitting there, and you've got to strengthen in 2 positions, what would the 2 positions be for you? Bridge? Hope he's no fell off his...
No, I'm saying it's that strengthening the team is a never-ending story.
Exactly, that's what it's meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah. So I really don't know why we haven't got a really, really, really top-class centre-half to give Goldson a good partner. I think the guys we've got are good. They're not taking anything against anyone, nothing against anyone. And I'm quite happy if they want to keep them, then we'll get on with it because we've done very well this season. But I think if we want to take that next step up into the likes of the Champions League, I think you really need a top quality centre half. Golson's carried us through for quite a while, I think anyway, and we could do with someone else to stand. I mean, big Helander, I think he's a great wee player, a great big player, should I say. And so is Balogun to a certain extent, but they don't have that little je ne sais quoi. I think Goldson's got that, but he's got limitations. I think a really good centre half would do is good. Somebody about 6'5", 6'6", built a shit a brick, and can play football and understand it. I don't know where you're going to get him.
You don't get many of that size, Bridge.
No, you don't. You don't.
I would rather want a 5'10" that could play, mate. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, but we're speaking about centre half. It's a completely different game today. Completely different game from when we played football. Centre half's very important, very, very important now. I mean, Balogun done very, very well considering where he came from. He's came from Brighton. Look at Goldson, came from Brighton. Absolutely wonderful. What a season he's had. What, 2 seasons? He's never missed a game this season. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
He was the fastest player ever in our history to get to
150 games.
150 games, mate.
Yeah, which is fabulous. Just fabulous.
Just look at his stats, mate. I mean, he has. I mean, I know some people think he's not the best we've ever had, but he's consistent. Yeah, he's got flaws in his game. So's Big Helander. I think Big Helander might be a better defender than Golson. Bridge.
I've heard people saying that, and I think that Big Golson is just totally outstanding. Golson plays, he plays his own position and he plays right back from a defensive perspective because he can see that when the balls are coming down. So if, for instance, Tavernier's away up front, there's only one person actually doing the covering, and that's Golson from a defensive perspective, and he's been doing a really good job at that. And if they step up, if the opposition step up, they can actually plug the space, and the ball never gets through to Golson, and that's when the whole defence is left weak, very weak. So I don't know how we're going to get over that. We're probably going to get Tav back in there and play his normal game. But I think that's what Goldson's been carrying us for quite a wee while now. Look, nobody's bad. Our team's a really good team. We're champions of the league, and I'm delighted that they are, and they're delighted too. And we'll win the league by 20 points, and God knows how many goals. And we'll probably get through to the end of the season having 20 points, if you follow what I mean, and probably win the league in that number. So I'm getting no complaints at all, not one. I'm just meaning when I look forward, and we're going to talk about the European Championship, it's Champions League stuff. If we're going to get in there, even for the shall we say, the qualifications, they're a high level of football, high level of football, and we need to get in there and play against people that are not quite as good as initially, and beat them if we want to do anything. And sometimes you get shown up when you're playing. When you step up, just step up once or twice, 2 steps, and you could be lost. Dead easy. So I just want to make sure the manager understands it. I'm not going to second guess Steven Gerrard. So as far as I'm concerned, he's got to do it. We have to do it. We need to get someone in. There's the other position I would like to bring in is up you on the right hand side, in the far right. I need to make sure we're either going to play Hadji or we're not going to play Hadji. Get somebody at far right because we need that. Because when if Tav's there or whomever it is that's there and they're running up there, they need support up the top as well. It's simple to me.
You had Roof playing there for a part of the season when he had a bit of form, but obviously the concerns that people had with his fitness, I mean, it was mentioned when we signed him, they have came to fruition a bit, Bridger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And look, Roof's going to be a really good player for us. He's going to be looked after in such a way by the manager and the management and the coaching staff that these repetitive injuries he was getting, they'll begin to be a thing of the past. And if they aren't, then we know we've got a serious problem with him. And maybe we've not looked at that when we've got to buy him. But he's a sensational player when he's on form, when he's fit. He does things that nobody else can do because he's unique in his own right. And to be able to score a couple of the goals that he's scored there are just outstanding quality. And we need that level of Roof playing. We need that level of Roof. I don't want that level of Roof to be sitting on the bench unfit continuously or even picked. We need Roof to be fit and be available and then start playing. That's what we need. Okay.
All right, Connor Golston's played 45 games in Europe, mate.
Wow.
You know, 45 games. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. Look, that's 15 games in 3 seasons. Yeah, each season.
On average.
Yeah. So if you think about that, we got that guy from Brighton where he was struggling a wee bit because of his health, and he was worried about his health, and he came up. And we might not have liked him initially. A lot of folk might not have liked him. Didn't think too much of him. A bit shaky. But my God Almighty, what's he turned out like? Just tremendous. 45 times in Europe. Half the guys that played down in the top level England could have never played 45 games in Europe. Amazing stuff. In 3 years. Wow. Just wow.
Just to let you know that John Gregg only played 81 games in Europe.
Well, it's just quite incredible.
I know the tournaments are different now, but 45 games, that's remarkable. And with Connor Golston Bridge, he's played 54 games, 52 games, and I think 48 games so far this season. And whether you like him or dislike him, his level of consistency and turning out's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's. Honestly, God, I think he's brilliant. I love the way he plays, and the first time he tried to do some of the long passes that he does, the first couple of weeks they were all right, and then it started to go away a wee bit, and they weren't catching it because the players are maybe in the wrong part of the pitch for him to get some distance on it. But my goodness, he can still ping the ball now, and he's no scared now. He's no nervous at all about it. And he really is a good defender, really good at defending. In my opinion, his only failing for me is he's just not got enough pace. He's not got the pace of a right back, a Tavernier. But he's good, nevertheless. He's good.
Funny, you should mention Tavernier. The boys came in, the boy Patterson, who I think might be quicker than Tavernier and better in the air than Tavernier, and arguably better than the tackle. Now, I'm not saying he's a better player than Tavernier. That's a different thing altogether. But the boys, in my opinion, definitely quicker than Tav.
Yeah, he's got a bit of pace about him, the lad. There's no doubt about that. The only thing that the guy lacks is the experience, and there's only one way to get that. You've got to play, and he needs to be able to play, and we need to make sure he's doing it right and teach him and bring him on. Now, we've thrown him in right to take over from Tav. And one of the best athletes in football anywhere in the world. One of the best athletes in football, James Tavernier. He shows it every week when he's playing. So to take the mantle up to go ahead and be a Rangers fullback and do it so well is just hats off to him. Hats off to him. I don't know if he'll be able to, like most other boys have done in the past. They get in, get 5 or 6 games, and then they're dropped out again to get not so much rested, but to recuperate and then going back in again. But I just think that Tav's got such a big star in the Rangers team, and I don't know if that lad will be a big star. Not for a couple of seasons yet, anyway. But he's got the makings. He's got the makings. Definitely that goal he scored in the European Cup in the Europa League, outstanding run, continuous running, beautiful in the box. Kept his eye on the ball and just smashed it. Just brilliant goal. Terrific player.
On the Tavs, obviously he's missed games in the last few weeks, and then he had his injury last season. Yeah. Appendix, wasn't it?
Correct, yeah.
50 games, 43 games, 45 games, 56 games, 46 games, and 40 games. 280 games he's played for. And he's played 47 games in Europe, so Golson's got up with him. Well, obviously when Tav came in, we're in the Championship, so
that's right.
We never done anything. But Tav got a league winners medal, hopefully get a Scottish Cup winners medal, and hopefully next season get the League Cup.
That's a good shout.
Full set, But these guys have been real models of consistency for us, and obviously to have ligaments bridge, we might not see him this season.
Yeah, I'll get my fears that we won't see him, and that's a big pity, because even if you get the last couple of games, or even one, then miss one, then put one in, it gives him a chance to be there and be part of it, and then we're going to go into the close season type of thing, But I'm seriously happy with most of our players. Seriously happy. There's very few in the team that I would, shall we say, discard. Even some of the substitutes that are there now. I'm going to leave that totally to the manager, because I don't like to pick people out and say no, they need to go type of thing. When asked a question, I will try and answer it as truthfully as possible. But I don't want anybody to leave and let the manager just pick the ones that need to go.
No, I know, but you can't have. I mean, there's. This is hard, but you know what I think of Stephen Davis, the footballer, and I also.
Oh yes, absolutely.
But I think Stephen will know when he's hit the wall. And there was times last year when he just came into the team, we thought, oh, Stephen's not going to be the player. But God, he's made his all eat my words. But he'll know, or somebody will take him to one side and say, you're at the end. Or somebody appears, gets transferred in, and they get thrown the shot. It's a bit different now with squad numbers, but in the old days when you didn't get 1 to 11 bridge, you
weren't in it.
You
weren't in it, absolutely. Think about it.
And there's no room. You have to keep moving. Listen, these guys, this squad, will ever be in our history, and we'll be chatting about them in years to come. We'll remember them fondly, but we don't keep playing them if there's somebody better just because they played in this league winning team.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth, pal. That's very well said, by the way. Well said indeed.
As much as well, as I said, we'll never forget them. Guys like Alan McGregor, Tavernier, Golson, Hollander, Balogun, Barisic, Stevie Davis, Ryan Jack, Aribo. Where we got Glenn Kamara, Zungu's come in and played. Scotty Arfield, Morelos, Ryan Kent, Hadji, Roof, the boy Scott Wright. They've all played their part. Have I forgot anybody? Big Itton, yeah. So all these boys have parts in themselves, played his part. They'll all be remembered as being part of this squad, but it's the manager's job and the recruitment's job to continuously improve, is it?
Yeah, I agree, pal, 100%. That's why I say I've got no complaints at all about anybody. We have won the league by a landslide, and we've proved through the season that we're the best team in the league, without a shadow of a doubt, irrespective of what other clubs or their newspapers will write, or their TV stations. I'll come out and say they just spout a lot of crap about the Rangers, and all the praise still goes to them, no matter what happens. They're way over the top about them, even the way they are now. Now I saw something in Follow that Roy Keane went in from like 61 or 71 into 1-4
I'm
to take over their job.
I'm going to tell you this just once.
Yes, I'm just trying to say. I'm just trying to say to you, these are the kind of things when you see this, it can demoralise people because it's just constant. That's all.
Don't demoralise me, but don't worry about them, and don't mention that's a official yellow card. You've mentioned 2 names, yeah. Third one, you'll be getting the magic
Evo, the Evo, yep.
Yes, your language is a disgrace on a Saturday evening on that show.
What a shock!
But can I just say to you, I say, well done for the show or the shows. They sound great. They really do sound great, and it's a good laugh. Good, really great to be involved in it, and really enjoyed it.
The sound of the 60s, and then the swinging 60s and the sound of the 70s, and then we've got the New Romantics, Dempsey and Makepeace. Dempsey and Makepeace, yes. Up Southside in London on Monday evening in the 80s, so we'll see how that goes, Bridger.
Oh, that'll be fun. No, it's really enjoyable to take part in as well. Really good.
Really enjoy it. I just want my team to finish off well this season. Finish the season off well.
Put it this way, the 60s are beating the 70s because the 70s get caught cheating, yeah?
Excuse me. I got to laugh. Well said, Oxley. I'll be raging, by the way. Fortunately, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm a complete neutral in this.
Yeah. It's not my fault they can't count, is it? Right, okay, so you're waiting for a centre-half there. We'll never get this 6'6" guy. Never for him yet. And what was the other position you mentioned?
I'm looking for someone on the right. At
the moment, we've got Hadji, we've got Roof, we've got Aribo that's all going to play there, yeah?
Yeah.
So what kind of... If you were picking somebody for the past...
from the past?
And who would you slide in there to improve the team? Who would it be? Who would you take?
Wow. That's going far. I wouldn't go for an out-and-out right winger, if you follow me. Otherwise, I'd put Wally Henderson in there. But,
we don't know play that way, do we?
No, it'd be somebody like the old natural number 8, you know.
Mm-hmm.
An Ian McMillan type player, you know. I can't remember who came on. Who was inside right after McMillan? Who was a big number eight? Boy called Smith. We had a guy called Smith playing for us. He was smashing.
Dave Smith? 8.
No, it wasn't Dave Smith. He was a left back. A left half, sorry.
I couldn't believe that he didn't get in the 70s team. Dave Smith, could you?
You know, the 70s were star-studded, wasn't it? It was star-studded. They were really good. And then, of course, we had the 80s, which was just unbelievable stuff.
We'll see about
that.
You know,
I'm just trying to think who would.
You're talking about a winger who could go inside playing the right.
That's it. An inside man, it wouldn't be bothered to do too much about going right. You know? Let's put it out to the right, you know. And the wee guy that we had up till 2 seasons ago there, Candias, the type of role that he played was very, very good. So we want someone to play that type of role and move inside, let the space, make space for Tav or whomever is playing a right back and running up, and then be there to support them. That at the same time, you know, that's the kind of role. I'll think of it. I'll get back to you on that.
I'm trying to think myself who you would play there that would maybe be, you know.
Well, who was your favourite inside forwards? The 2 inside forwards.
Inside forward. Obviously, it's a different game then, but the guy that, when I was growing up, the guy that played on that right side that made the game easy was Bobby Russell for me, mate.
I was just going to say Robert Russell, yeah. So someone like Robert Russell could just walk into that position for me. He's just ahead.
That would be a bit more offensive than where Russell would play, you know. He was more a midfielder rather than a, you know, these guys are playing up the front, really, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I thought Candeas played a really good role there, because he played it the wide and wide right, and he moved inside and let Tav capacity. Yeah, and created the space for him as well, and the support, you know. Mm-hmm. So a kind of unique position. So if you look, whoever it is, we're going to say, let's say it was Aribo. So I don't know if Aribo would make way and allow Tav to go in, although they played together a couple of times or in the same area, and they sort of caught up with each other in some nice passes, interplay. So it might be just Aribo, maybe that's all we're missing, but keep him out there.
I think Aribo sometimes gets a wee bit of raw deal. Bridges, the guy always gets moved, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think it's because he's got clever feet, and they think whomever it is doing, whether it's the coaching or whether it's Gerrard himself, there's a great expectation that no matter where you put him, no matter where you play him, he's that type of player. He should be able to play because he's brilliant with the ball at his feet. Well, it's a different game from moving from left to right, but I'm not as high up the chain as these guys. But it's really, I think Aribo's a star player. I think he's a star player. But the wee Hadji boy, I don't know if the wee Hadji boy would do that. He scored the other night for Romania, cracking goal. So that's a bit of confidence for him, and the Romanians like him. And I think Hellinder was man of the match for Sweden the other night, I believe. You know.
Was it? So, obviously, they two have been linked to moves, Bridge. I don't know if you picked that up.
No, I haven't seen that. Talk to me about that.
I've seen that Hellander's been linked to moves to two Midlands clubs, and the speculation that it's mere speculation, the clickbait stuff that Hadji for Lazio. Obviously, if their players are doing well, it's great that, you know, they're being spoke about in the media that they're looking to move for decent money. It means that we've done well. I take it as a positive, even if we don't go. You know.
Yeah, most assuredly, Oxford. Most assuredly, I think that Alexei Hadji, with the father's influence, and the people who liked the father and played with him and are still friendly with him, they're involved with a whole load of other clubs. And if they say to the father, "What's your boy like?" he'll tell me he's absolutely brilliant. He's playing brilliantly for Rangers, and so on and so forth. So I think, and he's playing well for us. He's doing well in Europe. So there's no black mark against him other than the fact that you don't like him.
I think I'm misunderstood. I think what I'll say to you, let's just say it was Jock Thompson that was playing out there, right? And he was putting in some of the performances that Hadji was putting in. I don't know if he'll get the same opportunities. When he's good, he's made things happen for us, and he's scored a few wonderful goals, made nice passes. When he's bad, like a lot of young boys, the game passes him by.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's good points once again.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
That's only my opinion, Bridget.
Of course.
I like to think if somebody plays well, even if you don't like him as a player, you'll still say, "Oh, he did a good game." You know, you've got to be big enough to admit that.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%, pal, 100%. We have to be realistic and listen to the boys coming away with the players that they liked from the 70s, and all the names that I knew. Every single one of them I knew, so I'm no fool. And I think that you could go through a whole lot from Derek Johnson being top notch way back 71.
Do you know what I read about him? Do you know what I read about him when I was looking at some of the stuff? And people wouldn't. I mean, Derek Johnson was a big star, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But he got called up and capped for Scotland, centre half, midfield, and at centre forward. That's remarkable. What does that say about how good a football player the guy was?
Well, I read what we did when went to the football, and we rated him as one of the best all-round players because he's just what a header of the ball, and he's brilliant timing as well. By the way, he wasn't the biggest person in the whole world, but he had great timing and he had great trust in the people who were putting the ball over to him. But when he was asked, I think he was actually asked, do you want to play centre half or do you want to play centre forward? Or indeed, he's maybe went in and says, I wanted to play centre half.
When John Gregg made him captain, he demanded he play at centre half. I don't think it was a good move, mate.
Yeah. Well, I thought he played some great games for us at centre half and for Scotland. So that just improved the breadth of his play. But obviously, the biggest qualitative part of him was his attacking sense, and he's brilliant with the head. And he was a big fella, and his presence was always there. Wonderful. I loved him my best.
All right. Well, talking about people we love, or you love particular, we've been joined by Andy for Leeds. Evening, Andrew.
Good evening. Just listening to your call. I just going on about the two shows there. That'd have been good. And looking forward to the 80s one. I think that could be even funnier, to be honest with you. Teams, you've got, so if you go to the start of the 80s, with some dodgy players, and then you go to the back of the 80s.
Don't expect me to comment to after the 80s show, mate. Yeah?
Right, okay. Aye.
All right.
I can remember that as well. I was quite in my pump there, right enough, so I can remember the 80s as well. But I'm looking forward to that one, I must admit. I was just thinking there when you mentioned David Smith. I had him floating about my 70s team last night because what a player he was. But I just couldn't see past Russell, to be honest with you. That was the only thing there. You could have picked another team, couldn't you? Another team. You could have picked a few at the 70s.
I think Bobby Russell played the majority of his games in the 80s, mate.
He did. He come in at the latter end of the 70s, didn't he?
The 77, 78 team, mate.
Uh-huh.
And he was still ways when Souness arrived, Souness let him go. What a marvellous football player.
Yeah. I remember he was brilliant. I remember thinking at the time, I couldn't ever get my head around where he let him go, especially in that, that first season there. You would have thought he would have let Russell stay about it right enough,
It was just no room for centre. Who did he keep? He kept Durant, Derek Ferguson, McCoy, broke back, Jimmy Nicholl come back, Dave McPherson, and that was about it, really. Fleck, Cammy Fraser in the first season, but he pretty much decimated the dressing room. But anyway, I can't talk about that because that's Monday's show, right? How are you, mate? All right?
Not too bad. I'm just pondering whether I'm just going to have a couple of drinks later. I'm watching the missus there carrying that bottle of wine. Do the washing. No, not me. The missus, right? I was just watching her carrying that, and I'm thinking, I've been off it all day. I'm thinking, nah, I might as well have a go now. She's got me in the mood.
So, what kind of wine is she drinking?
She's got in the mood. Right, away you go.
White wine, I think it is.
White wine, okay.
If she's got you in the mood, we'll put a tune on and let you get finished, then you can come back on.
Oh, yeah, I've been finished before you. Hey, listen, I've been finished before you put the tune on. So I wouldn't bother,
That's honesty for you.
All I do is I just let her remember the memories, that'll be enough to keep her going for the next few years,
I'm sure there's a name for that.
I tell you the other week, Roxy, don't buy your ladies any roses. I nearly lost 2 stone trying to keep up with her. She's getting there more. But it's kind of boring, isn't it, when there's no football on right enough? But,
no, that's how. I mean, but we know, and this is the last weekend we'll be doing the lockdown shows. Obviously, we've got a lot of football coming our way, but we recognise that the clock's going forward. The things are starting to get lifted, but football fans really, all the country don't enjoy these international breaks, do we?
No, I think they should be done with them. I mean, it was all right back in the day, because you never had this, did you? You played your league games and you had your internationals on the Wednesday, I think they were mainly on a Wednesday, weren't they? And we played on the Saturday back in the day. I kind of liked it like that. It's a shame, like you said before, it's a shame that we don't watch the Scotland now because I went to quite a few of them. They're back to Rangers players. You know, but I mean,
it'll come again, mate. It'll come again.
Oh, it will do as we go forward.
Speaking of players for Scotland, I just heard the other day there about the boy Lorimer. You being a Leeds man. He was a brilliant player as far as and the Lorimer and the two Greys, just tremendous players, and wee Bremner. Wow, what a foundation!
Billy Brennan, my old man was going to chin him.
Is that right?
We've been joined by Kenny. How are we doing, Kenny?
Not bad, mate. Cool. Good evening, Ox. Good evening, Bridgman. All you guys. Great again for you doing this show on a Saturday night. Brilliant. Just getting back, you were talking earlier on about possible targets next season, positions. I think we may have already say declared Scott Wright from what I've seen, actually, But I'd also like to see this box-to-box midfielder with the thought we had in Zingle, That one's not going to happen, I don't think, unfortunately. But I also to be Bridgman, I'd like to see another dominating centre-half in that defence.
Sensible man, Kenny. You're a sensible man. Sensible man.
But this box-to-box midfielder, like we had with Durante back years ago, who it was, you know what I mean? This is what I'm dying for. I thought we might have had it in Zinga, but that one, I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, the boy Kamara's got a wee more strings to his bow in the last, let's say, 18 months, Andy. If he took his game to the next level, what a player he could be,
Oh, Kamara, yeah. I've got a funny feeling what happened in there, like in the way Gerrard set him and put his hand around and set him like his own son there. And I've got a funny feeling that he'll repay the faith in him. And sometimes out of badness, as I said last night, sometimes out of badness comes a goodness. And this guy's got the potential to go all the way. I still think he's slightly dodgy at that, blind pass back every now and again. But once he irons that out of his game, I think as daft it sounds, you could be, as you keep saying about the Jack, I would have bought my team round in. With Jack being injury prone and all that, and whether he's going to make it, you could find yourself building your team around Kamara if he really hits the straps early, He's a good player. Well, he's getting up there, isn't he? And he's got it all in front of him. That's a fact. So, yeah. There's good signs there. We're going, like you said earlier, Dodge, we're going to have to strengthen, We've got aspirations of going into Champions League and qualifying here, like we said before, we're finding people's favourites in the team, have to be moved on if we want to go up that step. We're at 16 level in the Euro League. We're good enough to get there. Now, if we're wanting to go any further and go in the Champions League, we're going to have to, hopefully bring some of our players through that we've got in the academy that's going to come long term. But we're going to have to bring in a wee bit better quality. No, I'm not advocating for anybody to go. But, if we have to build and get money in, it's not the guys like Edmiston and all them that are pumped out at the moment and, Jones and all that, because you'll not get much for it. You'll get the wage, but you're going to have to sell your assets. You can't keep the likes of, I may upset Fox here or that, but you can't keep the likes of Tavernier at 29 and keep him another 3-year contract. There's no sell-on value there. And as a business, and we've got to get money in. The fact that we've had no crowd in, I believe that this season coming up for all clubs all around Britain, Europe, this is where you're going to find where this COVID's really headed. Some teams might go.
Did anybody see the loss that Everton announced? I don't know if you picked that up.
No, it's massive though, wasn't it?
193, was it? 193 or 139 million? Something like that?
139 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah, it makes our 20 million look insipid, doesn't it?
Right, and I mean, Bridge, I know you could cover that, but that's still a lot of money.
Wow. That's enormous. But what they've been saying is, for instance, they would need at least 2 seasons TV money from the Football League, or what they call the Premiership, to actually get rid of their debt, because otherwise they'll never get rid of it. If they come out for the next 2 seasons and continue spending in the manner they are, that club will be bankrupt.
Yeah.
Aye, just crazy money, and who's to say the TV companies going forward will have the same money to throw at football, Kenny? The world's changed,
Aye, the world's changed through COVID. You're seeing the transfer market coming up this summer, one of the teams we think we get for players, you're probably not going to get it. You know, it's the whole thing just went pear-shaped, actually, you know. I mean, I look at, there's only one club I'm interested in, Rangers, obviously. But I look at some of their assets, and to me, there's like, you can pair 4 players together. Alfie, Bonner, Kamara, and possibly Tavernier. Pair 2 out of 4 of that, you know what I mean? The business plan, we all know they've got a business plan and that's right, you know. But what I would like to see the club do is, you know, look, we've gone for get into a chance to get into the Champions League here, and then I think one of the guys brought up there actually. And then if they don't make it, we'll drop into the Europa League and then sell them, you know what I mean? But the business plan of the club, they all know that, you know, and it's hard to take, you know, but that's the way the world is, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the manager and the board will know they've still got to speculate to accumulate. And what I mean is, if they seriously want to get into the Champions League, it's a 30 million jackpot they're waiting for us, you know. So at the same time, keep the business plan in place.
No,
I'm not an economist, you know. But, you know.
No, I mean, when we looked the other night there, Andy, when we looked at, it's pretty much 6 or 7 players every year, their contracts up, and then they've got to weigh up, like, who do they move on, who do we not give contracts to? You know, obviously, there's guys coming in end this year, like Greg Stewart, etc., and they've not played enough football, so they're going to go, so that'll start freeing up money. But when we want to bring players in now under Stevie G, we want guys that's going to be playing in the first team, challenging for the first team, and there.
Yeah, well, you know, like you say, signing them on, they've got to come straight into the team and be bang on it for the start, like, because it's, you know, a different ball game. I mean, you know, we get big things coming up at the end of next season, haven't we? You know, the 150th and all that would be nice to, you know, retain the league, you know, with a better quality to a player. I mean, you can't knock them. And as I said, I mean, when I look at this team now, they're a model in there. You know, they stop what they were so-called going on about. But, you know, we really do have to go. And we'll have to, you know, now bringing any player we're bringing in now has got to be better in the quality we've got in the team. And that's not this in the team we've got now. It's just got to be better if we're aspiring to go to bigger places, you know.
Yeah.
I think keep the spine up, and then bringing quality players around them, you know. Then we go forth, don't we? You know.
We'll see. Anyway, I think we'll be joined by George. Evening, George.
How you doing, Ox? All right?
All right, mate. How's your good self?
Aye, good, Ox. Aye, good. I was actually just going to talk about the other shows, Ox. Well, last night's one in particular, Ox. I think that's great, Ox. Ken, you get boys on talking. Jimmy night before Skipper and Bridgeman, and then Jimmy and then last night Jimmy was going absolutely brilliant, Ox. Honestly, I could listen to these shows all the time, Ox. And the thing is, Ox, my heroes are probably the 90s, Ken McCoy's. That's where they Hateley allowed people at, and then you're going further on that bit. When you listen to these guys, Ox, I think the 70s probably the one that I like the best, because the stories, meeting the guys, and the stories they've got, and the passion for the club and things like that, Ox. It's just, I think that's probably my favourite era, the 70s, Ox, even though I wasn't even born then. Just the stories for the guys and the passion I've got for the club, Ox, absolutely brilliant.
Me and you should have maybe done the 2010s with together, George, yeah?
Aye, that would have been something to watch, yeah?
Aye, fair, well, good shout, mate. Listen, mate, as a club, we've been blessed with some magnificent players. Sometimes we couldn't get them as a group to build a team, but we're the piece with which is brilliant players. Talking about brilliant players, we've also been joined by Bob Gier. Evening, Bob Gier.
How you doing? All right.
All right, Bob Gier.
Brilliant part of the night. George said, you know, the show last night, incredible. The only thing about it is I'm going to put my tartan scarf away, get out a pair of white trousers, a Choose Life t-shirt, and get an Afro haircut on Monday.
All ready for that?
Aye. Does any of you remember, you're talking about inside men there, Bridge, about guys who could calm it down and pass the ball. Mind of Johnny Hamilton.
Johnny Hamilton, good player.
That's the boy he came for Hearts. He came for Hearts, didn't he?
Hibs, I think it was Hibs.
Hearts.
But I think he maybe played. There's a lot of them played for both Hibs and Hearts. He could get the ball down, spray balls out to wee Tommy McLean to get the crosses in at that time. Maybe we had a player like that in our ranks now, yeah. But you're saying there, Paul, your squad's relatively young, you know. We're talking about spending money in a squad. You talk guys like Aribo, Roof, Alfie, you know all the squad. I don't need to recite them off to you. They're relatively young and they've got a good 2 or 3 seasons on them yet. And we've gone into Champions League qualifiers and we're going to fight another league campaign. What's not to like? What's not to like? So we're talking about, buying players for big money. The clubs don't got that kind of money. So, there you go. I'm getting a wee bit nervous, guys. Sorry.
Aye. Bob Joe was right. He came for Hibs, mate. He came for Hibs, Johnny Hamilton. 69 games he played for us. 9 substitutes, appearances. George, you can't stand still, can we? Oh, George, we can't stand still, can we? Has George left us?
I'm not advocating standing still, Ox. It's just, I think that some of the best days are ahead of these laddies. Yeah?
But the problem you've got in modern football is, Bob, is whether they'll sign a new contract all the time.
Well, that's right, money. I was shocked to hear Everton's finances, by the way.
Oh.
Terrible.
Pretty frightening.
They're not alone, by the way. They're not alone.
No, Kenny, it's all beginning to blend, right? So how long somebody's got left in their contract, when you want to give them a new 3-year deal. It's a complicated thing, yeah?
Very complicated. Sorry, excuse me. Very complicated. To me, like right, Glenn Kamara, I would get Glenn Kamara on a longer contract. But he still might go, you know what I mean? But it gives the club more scope in the contract, in this transfer deal, everything else, you know what I mean? These players, Alan McGregor, I think, will sign on anyway for another year, but Kamara would be the one I'd be looking at, especially, because the clubs are going to come sniffing after him, you know? There's no doubt in my mind about it, especially getting into the Euros and everything else, you know? Get these players, look, then the club, the more money they can make, the better. Me personally, I think Kamara might actually go. If it was the term 2 before, what I said earlier, it would be having probably Alfie. You know, I think they might cash in and Alfie.
He's going to sign a new contract on Kamara in the next few weeks. It'll be announced, but that doesn't mean in modern football.
It doesn't mean a thing.
No go, Andy.
Yeah, the only thing about that, if you get him signed up with him and anybody comes right enough, then they've got to pay out the big bucks for him right enough. So, there's a logic in that as well if it goes that way. By the way, Bob, Big Jock put a lot of pride in Johnny Hamilton, didn't he? He was his go-to man at the time, would you remember? Johnny Hamilton. He was a very good player.
He was quite a surprising signing, eh? He wasn't like a lot of the stars round about them at the time.
Never heard of him at the time, Bob. Never heard of him at the time, but I never heard of him at all at the time when he came to the Rangers. Didn't remember him at all, and then obviously when he came to the Rangers, he was brilliant. Big Jock, a hell of a lot of stall in him, and he put in some great shifts for the Rangers, didn't he?
Oh, he did. Definitely did. He wasn't, like I say, he wasn't star material, but he did a really steady job in midfield.
Aye.
Yeah.
When he walked out of the park, like you just knew you were going to get a game. You never got a bad game out of him. It was always at a steady level,
That's right. And when we Alan McDonald, we Doddy in the middle, we Doddy did the work.
No, he was brilliant, was Doddy. He was before his time as well. There you go. Well, but like you say, with some great players.
The 70s show was last night. Used to go. Please go.
I'm still buzzing off it last night. I tell you, some of the memories. The guys were talking like, and I can remember certain places I were in and how I got there and how I shouldn't have got there, but I did get there. Like, if you get what I mean, like, 'cause I used to run away from school and all that, from England and all that. I used to get my mark at the afternoon. And I used to think I was still in school at 4 o'clock. I was halfway up the motorway, like,
You can always tell when somebody's missed a lot of school, and I saw that.
I don't know. It was all right, though. It's got me to nearly 60, so don't worry about
that. Probably a special school he was in. It was a special school.
Same as you.
Sorry.
Been joined by Mark. Evening, Mark.
Hey, lads, how we doing?
All right, mate. How's yourself? All right?
Aye, Mark.
Aye, not bad. Just thinking about a few signings for next year.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the boy Nisbet, the Hibs.
No, for me, mate. I don't think he improves. I don't think he improves our team at all. I know you would maybe sign him for potential, but I know we've looked at him, we looked at the boy Shanklin, who's improved his game with D United, but they've got to be better than what we've got. I don't think we need projects. Personally, Mark, it's only my point of view. What are you thinking?
No, I disagree with you, Ox, mate. I would take Nisbet. I think he's only 21. I think Lewis Ferguson, I think he's about 21. And I've heard in the chat on YouTube, Armstrong get mentioned. And I don't know, but I didn't like it at first, but he's a good player. I don't know his contract situation, and obviously he played for them if he would come. But that's my three that I'm thinking, that Armstrong, Lewis Ferguson, and Nisbet. They two are only 21.
If Nisbet and Lewis Ferguson playing for us next season at all, they're 20% of your team. Your team's getting back the way.
Yeah. They're only 21, Ox. They're only 21.
The boy Ferguson this year, he needs to get away from Aberdeen, and I don't mean he played for us. He needs to get away and learn how to pass the ball. He's just turned into somebody that runs about kicking people. Doesn't make a pass.
Well, I've just got you in like that, haven't they?
Aye, they have actually. You know, but
I don't know.
That's only my opinion, Mark. You're entitled to you. Who was the other one?
Nisbet, Ferguson, and Armstrong.
Armstrong. Well, we talked about him last night, Stretch, didn't we? He's a good football player, mate. I don't know if he will handle the pressure. I've been playing with both clubs in the city. What do you think yourself?
Well, I'm the same. Somebody mentioned it in the chat, Armstrong, and I didn't like it at the start, but the more I think about it, I think he could do a job, especially with Arfield getting that bit older. Davis, try to think, Lewis Ferguson, just ideas. And that boy, see that boy, what's his name? John Algeria or something.
Who's he?
The new Morelos.
Oh,
remember him back in January?
The boys in Finland.
Aye.
The Colombian boys in Finland. Nothing happened there, did it?
I think that kind of cooled off, eh?
Aye. But listen, there could be a lot of movement this year, Mark. We've got a lot of bodies getting out the door. We've all signed people as squad players, and then we'll sign first team players. Bob, then Bridgman.
I think so. I mean, this was mentioned last week, very wee discussion last week, and if you mind me saying, the only one I would sign in Scottish football, Mark, is the boy that's the left back with Hibs, that Doig. He looks a good player, that laddie, and he could develop. But the rest of them, to me, is much of the muchness, as you said, would go back a percentage. I didn't rate Lewis Ferguson or Lawrence Shanklin or the boy Nisbet to take us forward. That would stagnate us. We need an improvement. Definitely. We're going to lift this league again, and we're going to go into the Champions League. You're going to have quality, but to get there and quality to be there. So that's your outlook.
What I will say to you, Mark, is that I'd never seen Scott Wright, and I didn't think, what we're getting here. But any time I've seen him, he's impressed me, mate.
Well, yeah.
Aye, 100%. I was just about to say that about right there. I wasn't expecting much from him, but I think he's the type of player we were missing. But we only really had Dent as a winger. Still think we need maybe another one just to back the two up.
Well, we'll see. Maybe
Bridgman was saying earlier about the right side, up above Tav.
And you come, Bridge.
I thought you said Bob Jerry was coming in, so my apologies. Insofar as the chaps that we've mentioned, I'd be the same as the other guys. I don't think they would improve my team. I don't know how much you expect to pay Hibs, for instance, and the Aberdeen, and of course it'd be Southampton for like the other boy, Armstrong. But if you could maybe tell me what you thought those three would cost together.
I would say you're talking about maybe Hibs are in a bad way with their money, so maybe 3 million, maybe a wee bit more the add-ons. Lewis Ferguson, maybe 2.5. Armstrong, I've not got a clue with his contract situation.
And have they got long contracts to go? Have they signed long contracts? A boy Nisbet, for instance?
I think Nisbet has got a good contract at Hibs.
I think he knocked back $3 million for Birmingham at Christmas there, didn't he?
Yeah, I will tell you now, I would not give them any money at all for any of those players. I don't rate, personally do not rate Lewis Ferguson. I thought his first season with Aberdeen he looked quite good, but then you saw the sort of the liability side of him coming in, a bit of kicking, as Oxy mentioned. But no for me. Nisbet was on fire for a wee while, and he's not fired at all since. He's just stopped firing by the look of it altogether. So I don't know what's happened to him. Actually, Armstrong's playing. The last time, because I watched Match of the Day a lot, and he always seems to play very well for Southampton. So he may have found a home, and he might never want to leave there. But it would cost you a lot of money to get him away from Southampton. I'll tell you now. Unless we do what we've been doing before and managing the thing, and then wait until the end of the season. But he must be on a hefty contract, so I don't think Rangers would look at him, to be honest.
It's just a few ideas. I said Ferguson and Nisbet are only 21, so they've got potential. I really like Nisbet. I can see a lot in Nisbet. I would take Nisbet, no bother. I know he's no Morelos standard, but I wouldn't take him as my number 9 to win me 56, but I would definitely take him. And it's just recruitment's going to be key, isn't it, for 56?
It's going to be interesting, mate. It's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of bargains out there, Bob G, because of COVID. And Kenny.
Oh, the financial.
Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, first.
You're all right, bud. But the financial clout's coming out of football. Like you say, you just gave Everton as an example. I'm waiting to see the rest of the club's books. It must be frightening. It must be horrendous, the wages these clubs are paying out early years. It's not just the COVID situation. It's just a general situation. The wages are paying. It's coming to us feeling. It's got to. It must. And some of these lesser clubs in England are giving guys, I don't know, 120, 130 grand a week. It can't continue. But the COVID's here and has created a financial ceiling on everything, and football's going to suffer through it as well, big time. I'm glad, I think, and I'm sure and I'm confident that our club is in a healthy position. At least we've got assets running about the park. So you could speculate about what they're going to cost and who's going to come in all you want, but the financial clout has come for football, just like the rest of the economy. Kenny, come far off that assessment, boys.
Kenny, then George Logan's back ways. You sneaked in the basket.
Me personally, I'm with Bridgman. I wouldn't play any Scottish team, any money for any of the players. Lewis Ferguson, we all know the history of Lewis, Derek and Barry and all that, But to me, he's not our class yet. Well, hopefully he does make it one day, It was that boy, was it Nisbet up front? Nah, not for me. I watched an under-21 game early evening night, Romania. It's on YouTube, I watched it. Romania against Hungary. What a brilliant game it was. And there was a young player, a guy called Matan. You ought to have seen the game he had and the goal that he scored in this game. He's an under-21. Obviously, just maybe Hadji and that, That's what we should be looking at, this sort of market. No Scotland. This boy, what a performance it was for this boy tonight in that game, Matan, I think his name is Matan. Look at Bios, catch up with later, guys, and see the goal, the performance he had. No Scotland, and don't get any of that mob any money, I hate every one of them. I put myself on the table, I can't get what they've done to Rangers. And in fact, since B155, it's maybe even worse, because I think we could have done it, you know what I mean, or the tells we lost out in trophies and everything else. I despite every one of them.
All right, George,
exactly right.
George is back, mate. All right, George.
How you doing, boys? All right. Just when you're talking about players who you want to see coming in, I think that boy Armstrong's a cracking player, Ox, but he wouldn't come to us. He couldn't handle that. But the wee boy McCann up at St Johnstone, Ox, again, he's only 21, but I think he's only had 2 caps for Northern Ireland. He's doing a bit. I think the Rangers are a bit interested in him, Ox. I think you'd probably get him for about 250 grand. He's a project I'd be willing to deal with, Ox. But the one for me, I don't think we need to replace anybody in our team at all. Apart from the end of the season, we're going to have to replace Steve Davis. And what a mission that's going to be. Ox. And for me, I heard somebody saying about the boy Fleck. I would love for Rangers to be able to get a young boy Fleck, Ox, because I think he's that sort of number 10 that we could probably fit into our team, Ox. And I can probably have a bit of money, but we didn't need to spend a lot of money to improve our team, Ox. We just need to improve guys who've got to believe in.
It'll be interesting, man. Right, interesting time, and it's all positive. We're talking about improving our team as champions to move to the next level. Can I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join us in this lockdown show? But we've reached that time in the evening. It's over to you, Bridgeman. Bridge.
Pal, got you here. So I'm just going to say thank you to yourself. What a great night. Tremendous stuff. This is everybody enjoys these type of shows. It's just wonderful. Great atmosphere. Quite a bit of discussions on new players coming in and things like that. People like to talk like that. So can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, please keep it going for the Rangers. Go and get your My Jers renewed or join up. Everybody, keep it going.
Yeah, we're going to play a tune. We've been asked to play Henry Thompson. This is for you, for your good lady who's no longer with us, passed away recently. All the best for everybody here at Rangers Radio. Look after yourself. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us, lads. Thanks to Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 9, and I'm sure this debate and this conversation will carry on. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Blue.
You, my heart's on fire. Come to me wild and wide. Oh, you come to me. Give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak a language of love like you know what it means. Oh, I can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it stronger, babe. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever made. Stuck on your heart, oh, I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart, baby, I would rather be dead. In your heart, I see the start of every night and every day. In your arms, I get lost and I get washed away. Just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever made. Stuck on your heart, oh, I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart, baby, I would rather